Okay, let me tell you how I ended up engaged to the most ruthless CEO in Shanghai. And no, it wasn't some meet cute in an elevator. It started with a blackmail letter and a very, very bad decision. Cara Lynn, was not supposed to be here. 2 months ago, I was just a junior marketing associate at Jin Corporation, overworked, underpaid, and invisible. Then he showed up. John Wei, the so-called Wolf of Wall Street with a reputation for crushing competitors and hearts without remorse. The man who never smiled, never lost, and definitely never looked twice at someone like me. Until he did. It started with an envelope on my desk. Inside, a single photo, 3 years ago, in a scandal I thought I'd buried forever. And a note in sharp, elegant handwriting. My office. 8 p.m. or this goes public. I should have burned it. Should have quit. But I went. His office was all glass and shadows, the city lights painting him in gold. He didn't even look up from his documents when he said, "Marry me." I laughed. He didn't. Turns out John Wei needed a fake fiancée to secure a billion-dollar merger. And thanks to my past, I was the perfect blackmail material. 1 year, he said, sliding a contract across the table. Play the part, and your secret dies with me. I signed. Big mistake. Because the first time he kissed me in front of 200 shareholders, his grip bruising my waist, I felt it. The spark. The lie becoming dangerously real. And then I found the other file in his desk, the one with his secrets. Turns out John Wei didn't blackmail me for a merger. He did it because I'm the only one who can expose the truth about his brother's death. So there I was, fake engaged to a man who could ruin my life with a single phone call. And the worst part? I was starting to like it. The first rule of being John Wei's fiancé? Never trust his smile, because when he smiled, it meant someone was about to get destroyed. Our engagement was a performance. Scripted dinners, staged affection, his hand always a little too tight around mine, like he was afraid I'd run. I definitely thought about it. But then came the Jiang Gala. The event was a who's who of Shanghai's elite, and John Wei's enemies were circling. Especially Luo Jian, the silver-tongued heir to Jin Corporation's biggest rival. And, oh, did he hate John Wei? Cara Lynn, Jian purred, cornering me near the champagne tower. Funny how you went from nobody to fiancé overnight. What's your secret? Before I could answer, John Wei materialized behind me, his voice ablade. Touch her, and I'll bury your family in debt? His arm slid around my waist, possessive. Fake. Right? But later in the limo, he shocked me. Luo Jian knows about the blackmail. My blood went cold. How? John Wei stared out the window, his reflection a ghost in the glass. Because he's the one who gave me the photo. Wait. What? The blackmail wasn't John Wei's idea. It was Luo Jian's trap all along, to pit me against him. And now John Wei was looking at me like I was the enemy. So, Cara, he murmured, fingers tilting my chin up. Whose side are you really on? Remember when I said this was just business? Yeah, I was an idiot. The moment John Wei asked whose side I was on, I should have lied. But something in his eyes, something broken behind all that ice, made me reckless. I'm on the side that doesn't blackmail strangers, I snapped. His grip on my chin tightened. Then you're already losing. That night, I did something stupid. While John Wei was in Hong Kong on business, probably ruining someone's life, I broke into his private study. Big mistake. His desk was a fortress, but I found the hidden drawer, the one with the red file. Inside, crime scene photos of a car wreck and a medical report for Li Jiao, age 17, John Wei's little brother. The official story said Li Jiao died in an accident. But these photos? The skid marks were all wrong. This wasn't an accident, it was murder. And the most damning page? A signed confession from Luo Jian's father. Oh my God! A voice cut through the dark. I warned you not to dig! John Wei stood in the doorway, his tie loose, eyes wild in a way I'd never seen. I scrambled back. You used me as bait. This whole fake engagement was just to get revenge on Luo Jian's family. He moved like lightning, caging me against the desk. No, he growled. I chose you because you're the only one who understands what it's like to lose everything. Then he kissed me. And God help me, I kissed him back. Turns out kissing your blackmailer is a terrible idea, especially when his enemies are watching. The morning after the kiss, Zhang Wei acted like nothing happened. Coffee at 7 a.m., briefing at 8, a stack of NDAs for me to sign by noon. Asshole. But when I slammed the documents on his desk, he caught my wrist. You're angry. You lied to me. I omitted. His thumb brushed my pulse point. There's a difference. Before I could retort, his phone buzzed. A message that made his grip tighten. They found the body. That's how I ended up in Zhang Wei's bulletproof car, racing toward the docks where his brother's wrecked car was being conveniently rediscovered by Luo Jian's men. This is a setup, Zhang Wei snarled. They want me to react. I stared at his profile, the clenched jaw, the storm in his eyes. Then don't give them what they want. He laughed darkly. Too late for that. Because when we arrived, it wasn't just the car. It was Luo Jian, smirking beside a live news crew, holding a file labeled confidential with my name on it. Miss Lin, reporters shouted. Is it true you helped Zhang Wei cover up his brother's murder? Zhang Wei went rigid beside me. This wasn't just revenge. This was war. And Jian wasn't done. Of course, he purred, there is another option. He extended a hand to me. Walk away now, and I'll make sure you don't drown with him. Zhang Wei didn't move, didn't speak, just watched me with those eyes, like he already knew my choice. They say you should never make deals with the devil. But what if the devil is the only one who ever really saw you? The docks were silent except for the lapping waves and the pounding of my heart. Luo Jian's hand hung in the air between us, his smile slick with victory. Zhang Wei didn't beg, didn't flinch. He just stared at me with those midnight eyes waiting. Well, Kara, Jian taunted, will you die for a man who blackmailed you? I looked at the file in his hands, the one that could destroy me. Then at Zhang Wei, who stood like a king awaiting execution. No, I said. Jian's grin widened. Zhang Wei closed his eyes. I stepped forward and snatched the file from Jian's grip. I'm not dying for him, I spat, tearing the papers in half. I'm burning with him. Chaos erupted. Jian lunged. Reporters screamed. Zhang Wei moved like lightning, yanking me behind him as security swarmed. But the real explosion came later, in the quiet of his penthouse where he pinned me against the wall, breathing ragged. Why? He demanded. I touched the scar on his chest, the one from the car crash that killed his brother. Because I read the whole file. You weren't covering up a murder. My voice broke. You were trying to prove it. His brother hadn't just died, he'd been sacrificed by their own father to frame Luo Jian's family and spark a corporate war. And Zhang Wei had spent every day since hunting the truth. You were never my enemy, I whispered. His forehead dropped to mine. No, he admitted hoarsely. I was something much worse. What? A man who fell in love with his own pawn. Then the door burst open. Mr. Zhan! His lawyer rushed in, pale. They've issued an arrest warrant for both of you. Zhang Wei didn't hesitate. He grabbed my hand and a black duffel bag from his closet. Where are we going? I gasped as he hustled me toward the private elevator. His smile was all sharp edges and danger. To finish what my brother started. As the doors closed, his lips found mine in the dark. Not a kiss of desperation, but a promise. We burned together. 1 year later, the headlines said it all. Jin Corporation CEO exonerated. Luo family arrested in cover-up scandal. Mystery woman revealed as key witness. Nobody mentioned how Zhang Wei's fingers laced with mine at the verdict, or how the contract we signed now hung framed in our bedroom, with fake crossed out, and forever scrawled beneath in his sharp handwriting. Still think I'm the devil, he murmured that night, tracing my bare shoulder. I nipped his finger. Worse, you're the CEO who stole my resignation letter. He laughed, really laughed, and for the first time, I saw the boy beneath the beast. The one who loved his brother, who chose justice over revenge, who chose me. Best deal I ever made, he said. And for once I didn't argue.